Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Reading from Prabhupada, your ever well-wisher, by His Holiness Satsvarup Maharaj. Today we start a new chapter uniting two worlds. San Francisco, July 5th July 1970. Srila Prabhupada was attending the 1970 Rath Yatra in San Francisco. The day was cold and windy, and about 10,000 people had joined Lord Jagannath's procession through Golden Gate Park. Srila Prabhupada had danced in the street with thousands of participants during the parade, addressed a large crowd in an auditorium by the beach, and looked on as his disciples had distributed a free vegetarian prasadam feast to thousands. But when a devotee arrived with a half a dozen advance copies of Volume 1 of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada appeared especially pleased. Surrounded by devotees and curious festival goers, Srila Prabhupada held one of the books, admiring the front cover with its full color picture of Radha and Krishna. The volume was big, almost 7.5 by 10.5 inches, and its dust jacket shone silver with large bright red letters, Krishna. It was a transcendental wonder in Srila Prabhupada's reverent hands. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 43. So can Taveksha Yaya hi abhihito bhagavato dharma sthirachara sattva kadambeshva aprithak dhiyoyam upasate tvarya. Navyavichariti taveksha Yaya hi abhihito bhagavato dharma Sthirachara sattva kadambeshva aprithak dhiyoyam upasate tvarya. Navyavicharati taveksha Yaya hi abhihito bhagavato dharma Sthirachara Sattva Kadambeshu Aprithak Dhiyo Yam Upasate Tvarya. Please chant. Navya Vichariti Taveksha Yaya Hi Avihito Bhagavato Dharma Sthirachara Sattva Kadambeshu Apritak Dhiyo Yam Upasate Tvarya. Navya Vichariti Taveksha Yaya Hi Abhito Bhagavato Dharma Sthirachara Sattva Kadambeshu Apritak Dhiyo Yam Upasate Tvarya. Na not Vyavichariti fails. Tava your Iksha outlook. Yaya by which. He indeed. Abhihita declared. Bhagavata in relationship with your instructions and activities. Dharma religious principle. Sthira non-moving. Chara moving. Sattva kadambeshu among the living entities. Apritagdhiya who do not consider distinctions. Yam which. Upasate follow. To certainly. Arya those who are advanced in civilization. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear Lord, one's occupational duty is instructed in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita according to your point of view, which never deviates from the highest goal of life. Those who follow their occupational duties under your supervision, being equal to all living entities, moving and non-moving, and not considering high and low, are called Aryans. Such Aryans worship you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Dharma and Krishna Katha are identical. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to become a guru and preach the instructions of Krishna everywhere from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Puranas, Vedanta Sutra and similar Vedic literatures. Aryans who are advanced in civilization follow Bhagavad Dharma. Prahlad Maharaj, although merely a child of 5 years, recommended Kaumara Acharat Pragyo, Dharman Bhagavataniha, Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. Srimad Bhagavatam 761. Prahlad Maharaj preached Bhagavad Dharma among his classmates as soon as an opportunity was afforded by the absence of his teachers from the classroom. He said that from the very beginning of life, from the age of 5, children should be instructed about Bhagavad Dharma because the human form of life, which is very rarely obtained, is meant for understanding this subject. Bhagavad Dharma means living according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, we find that the Supreme Lord has arranged human society in 4 social divisions, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Again, the Puranas and other Vedic literature set forth 4 ashramas, which are the divisions of spiritual life. Therefore, Bhagavata Dharma means the Varnashrama Dharma of the 4 social and 4 spiritual divisions. The members of human society who strictly follow the principles of Bhagavata Dharma, and live according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Aryans or Arya. A civilization of Aryans who strictly follow the instructions of the Lord and never deviate from those instructions is perfect. Such civilized men do not discriminate between trees, animals, human beings, and other living entities. Pandita Samadarshina. Because they are completely educated in Krishna consciousness, they see all living beings equally. Aryans do not kill even a small plant unnecessarily, not to speak of cutting trees for sense gratification. At the present moment, throughout the world, killing is prominent. Men are killing trees, they are killing animals, and they are killing other human beings also, all for sense gratification. This is not an Aryan civilization. As stated here, Sthirachara Sattva Kadambeshu Apritag Dhiya. The word Apritag Dhiya indicates that Aryans do not distinguish between lower and higher grades of life. All life should be protected. All living beings have a right to live, even the trees and plants. This is the basic principle of an Aryan civilization. Apart from the lower living entities, those who have come to the platform of human civilization should be divided into a society of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. The Brahmana should follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as stated in Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures. The criterion must be Guru, Guna, and Karma. In other words, one should acquire the qualities of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra and act accordingly. This is the civilization accepted by the Aryans. Why do they accept it? They accept it because they are very much eager to satisfy Krishna. This is perfect civilization. Aryans do not deviate from the instructions of Krishna, nor do they have doubts about Krishna, but non Aryans and other demonic people fail to follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. This is because they have been trained in sense gratification at the cost of other living entities. Nunam pramate kurute vikrama. Their only business is to indulge in all kinds of forbidden activities for sense gratification. Yadindriya pritaya apanoti. They deviate in this way because they want to gratify their senses. They have no other occupation or ambition. The method of civilization is condemned in the previous verse. Ka shemo nija parayo kiyan vartham swaparadruha dharmena. What is the meaning of a civilization that kills oneself and others? This verse therefore advises that everyone become a member of the Aryan civilization and accept the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should conduct his social, political, and religious affairs according to his instructions. We are spreading the Krishna consciousness movement to try to establish a society the way that Krishna wants it. This is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. We are therefore presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is and kicking out all kinds of mental concoction. Fools and rascals interpret Bhagavad Gita in their own way. When Krishna says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yajimam namaskuru. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. They comment that it is not Krishna to whom we must surrender. Thus they derive imaginary meanings from Bhagavad Gita. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, strictly follows Bhagavad Dharma, the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam for the complete welfare of human society. One who misinterprets Bhagavad Gita, twisting out some meaning for his sense gratification, is a non-Aryan. Therefore, commentaries on Bhagavad Gita by such persons should be immediately rejected. One should try to follow Bhagavad Gita as it is. In Bhagavad Gita 12:6-7, Lord Shri Krishna says, Yetu sarvani karmani mani sanyasya matpara ananya neva yogena mam dhyayanto upasate तेषामहं समुदार्ता मृत्यु संसार सागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मयि आवेशित चेतसाम्. For one who worships me, giving up all his activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pritha, for him I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीर धारी कृपाम्बुदीर्य तमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा kindly bless us so we study Srimad Bhagavatam in the proper spirit. Just to mention, day before yesterday, Prana Prabhu gave class and I enjoyed the class. And I was going to message you as well, Prana Prabhu. I felt like Prana Prabhu also perhaps relished the class or he was like getting into it as say. And see, in my little understanding, in my naive and practice of say Krishna consciousness, someone who gives class, say, he should be very free as such in giving class and expression of Krishna consciousness, expression of Srimad Bhagavatam. Giving class is not for pleasing people, say. It is to bring out the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, Srimad Bhagavatam, the most powerful asset of a sadhaka, the most powerful asset of actually a sadhu, of a sadhu, a sadhaka, a sadhu, is his speech. Is his speech. Now, through glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, what can happen? What should happen actually? It should help me come out of ignorance. It should help me come out of denial mode. Uh, we live a life in a denial mode. We are far away from the reality. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guru Vainama. So, a spiritual master, Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru is someone who can help me come out of a denial mode, who can show me the reality, who can show me life as it is for its true worth. And that is Srimad Bhagavatam, clear crystal showing the reality. And if devotees do not take up on this job, then who will else? Who else will do it? So, um, I would just like to maybe take a pause a bit and reflect on the past time, how the past time, where it currently stands and how it has progressed. And we'll try to discuss perhaps something from the translation and purport, but in general, moreover, say overall from the past time. So in here, as almost with every pastime, say, once upon a time. Many things in life start with once upon a time. So once upon a time, there was a king named Chitraketu, and very pious, righteous king, and looking after his citizens very nicely. Mm. Uh, and but there was one thing the king felt in himself, that one thing is missing in his life. What is that? He was sonless, childless. He did not have any child. He did not have any son. So the citizens were happy under his rule, but yet the citizens were amongst themselves as well discussing, our king is good, pious, but he has no son. And some talks were like, okay, should we be under a king who has no son? It doesn't, in Vedic lifestyle, it doesn't sound good. Why is he not having a son? Huh? So the king was also, it was in his forefront, it was in his mind heavily that I do not have a son, though I do not have a son. And fine, king's principal wife was Kritya Tyuti, and then he went on marrying uh, another lady, then another lady, then another lady, 100 wives, 1,000 wives, 10,000 wives, 100,000 wives. Uh, what? 1 million wives? 10 million wives. All for I'm sonless, I don't have a child. So with that pursuit, hmm, that the king was feeling himself a bit lacking. I don't have a child. I don't have a child. So he wanted a child, and he married 10 million wives too. But still, fortune or still providence did not favor. It wasn't destined to be, and he was so upset. Still, he was ruling fine, and at that moment, divine intervention happened. Angira, a sage saint, Angira Muni, he came to see the king, and he could read the mind of the king. These are saintly persons. Uh, they can read the mind. They can easily check the pulse of a person. They can work it out where the person stands. A saintly person doesn't need much telling about. Hmm. And you see, sometimes when we visit some realized soul, realized devotees, a realized soul devotee doesn't need telling about the details and everything. He can easily sense it. Say sometimes we take association for 4 days of someone, and what do we get out of that association? Pretty much nothing. Same, just at the same length, same discussion and all, pretty much nothing. But when you take association of some realized soul for 40 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even 4 minutes, just one sentence, and that can really shake one up. That is the power of sadhu sangha. So the Angira Muni, he could read the mind and the heart of the king, that what is the problem, and he let the king open up the problem. He did not tell the king that this is your problem, this is the problem. He knew, but it is a culture wherein let the person open up his heart. Arjuna opened it up his heart. Krishna knew, but Krishna wanted Arjuna to open up his heart. Narad Muni knew that my disciple Vyasdev is having problem, even though he had written Vedic literatures. But Narad Muni wanted Vyasdev to open up his heart. Parikshit Maharaj opened up his heart. So Angira Muni, he 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 was in a dialogue with King Chitraketu, and he let King Chitraketu open up his heart. And King Chitraketu opened up his heart and revealed. And Angira Muni sensed, okay, he's not in a position to take on the transcendental message just as yet, but still to put him in the transcendental realm only. So Angira Muni blessed him, said, what? Okay, you will be blessed with a son. You will be blessed with a son, but the very same son will be the cause of your jubilation and lamentation. Now, King Chitraketu, he was so jolly mood. He was such in a happy mood. Then hearing this, that yes, very soon I shall become father. He interpreted that okay, the cause of my jubilation, the son would be the cause of my jubilation. Lamentation, perhaps what that only son of a king, so he might be a bit spoiled. He might be a bit pampered. Fine, it's okay. As Prabhupada says, na, a blind uncle is better than no uncle. Say so. Fine. I'm happy to have a spoiled son rather than having no son. In due course of time, the child appeared, and the king, queen, the citizens, the kingdom, everyone were very happy, and the 10 million co-wives were also very happy, and the center of attention attraction was the child. Everything was done for the child, so it raised the jubilation parameters in the entire kingdom, for the palace as well, outside the palace as well, with the king, with the queen and other queens. And as days progressed, what happened? The child was getting all the attention, and the king was perhaps doing his duty and also very much attached with the son, and he was very happy for his principal wife. And the other 10 million wives, as the days progressed, they started feeling neglected. They were like, oh, the sun is now the center of all, and this queen, the eldest queen, she is also now the center of all. And who are we? We do not have any worth. We do not have any value, and we are still living in the kingdom, but look how uh, hopeless or how invaluable, how low is our position. Even though we have our nice rooms and saris and everything and jewelry and all, and we have got servants as well, but we are not appreciated. We are not feeling appreciated. We are not feeling worthy. So these emotions, this psychology and all, very nicely it was kicking in, grooming in, that even though we have a very comfortable bed to lie on and the servants who help us and citizens still take us as queens, but externally, but internally, I'm not feeling happy. Why? Because I'm not being validated by the king. The king doesn't give me much time anymore. The king thinks that, okay, I'm for not real worth and good. So the queens, they were feeling dejected. They were feeling very low. Hmm. They were feeling very neglected. And in that pursuit, it was boiling up, steaming up, and came to a point wherein what happened? The queens amongst themselves decided, okay, now we cannot take this anymore. This sort of insult, subtle insult, this sort of ignorance, we cannot take this anymore. For a conditioned soul to take matters on his hand, he's going to screw it up altogether. If a conditioned soul thinks, okay, now let me do something, I have to act now, is going to screw things up. Arjuna knew that, okay, that I'm going to act now. So Arjuna said, put the chariot in between the two parties. And then he got completely bewildered. And in that bewilderment, good thing is he did not act. He did not go further. He told Krishna, okay, I cannot act. You help me now. Hmm. But in this instance, the queens, they decided amongst themselves that what do? We poison the child. Poison the child. Mm. And thereafter, the child was poisoned, and the maid servant one fine day she went to look after the child, but the child was poisoned that morning same, and he wasn't going to wake up. So the maid servant was very shocked, of course. And the queen, the principal queen, got to know Duty. She was shocked like anything, of course. The king got to know, he was shocked like anything, and all the other co-wives got to know. Everyone in the palace got to know. Now, uh, just see a king having 10 million wives living together in one palace. How big the palace would be? Very big. And servants, and look at the kitchen and all those facilities and all, and everyone got to know such a thing had happened. Now they were all very shocked and crying and so sobbing why this has come upon. And there was further dialogue going on later on. Narad Muni and Angira Muni re-entered the scene. This time Narad Muni as well, accompanied Angira Muni, and they spoke with the king. They spoke with the king. And sadhus, when they speak, they pacify. Any situation, sadhu can pacify. Yeah. So they pacified the king. They gave them real knowledge, the king and the queen. And these 10 million co-wives, they were also feeling very ashamed of their act, and they repented, they acknowledged, they said that we are sorry, and they went in for purification and some atonement. And the king also realized, queen also realized, and the boy himself, the living entity himself, he also woke up and gave a very good message. And now the king, then King Chitraketu, he was blessed by Narada Muni. Then he was given a mantra initiated by Narada Muni, because his bewilderment was over. And within 7 days, he got darshan of his Lord. And now it is the king Chitraketu glorifying the Lord. Now maybe I think we can start with the class. We can start with the verse and we can start speaking. See, there is two things in life. One is emotions, and another is reality. Uh, One is emotions, another reality. Now, sometimes we get carried over by emotions, and we struggle to see the reality. Or sometimes we are so hung up with the truth, hung up with the morality, with the truth, with the, say, the fact that we discard emotions, we discard the culture or etiquette. And Krishna consciousness teaches us how to strike a balance between emotions and reality, how to check the sense of the situation, the pulse of the situation, how to manage, how to deal with the situations and the reality and the fact of the matter, the emotions and the truth, the fact of the matter. Now, possibly herein, they were all carried away by emotions. The king, the queen, principal queen, all those 10 million queens, Shishikhorantai Mayapur Sashiki, all the 10 million co-wives and the servants, the people in the citizen and all, largely carried over by emotions. See, Krishna consciousness teaches us what bhakti is, what to develop sentiments, to develop loving sentiments. So Krishna consciousness teaches us to have sentiments, to develop loving sentiments. But does Krishna consciousness teach us to be sentimental? This is a question. It is good to have sentiments, but is it good to be sentimental? Krishna consciousness teaches us to develop loving sentiments but not be sentimental. Perhaps here the co-wives and the king and the queen and others, they got a bit sentimental, they got a bit carried by emotions. Another thing, neglect, na? It's a very strong feeling that being neglected. Anyone in this room and outside of this room, can anyone ever claim that they were never neglected in life? Living in brahmachari ashram, living in whichever ashram, living, say, someone could be temple president, someone could be a GVC, but can anyone claim that I never feel neglected, I was never neglected? You know, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was neglected. So much so throughout, no? When he went to Vrindavan and even with his mood and mission and everything, he was neglected. When he came to the US as well, he was neglected. He revealed it, but he never revealed it that he was neglected with any ill motive, with any grudge, with any pain, with any sort of feeling that this is wrong. Say. When Prabhupada was in America, he wrote the poem or he wrote a letter, right? That is it in Gaur Purnima or Janmashtami? And he says, where I am, how many thousand miles away from Vrindavan, how many thousand miles in separation from devotees and the celebration and everything. So, this like, why am I cornered? Why am I sidelined? Prabhupada could have entertained such thoughts, could he not? But he did not. He did not. He was able to see the mercy of the Lord throughout. And even up until his last physical breath, Prabhupada blamed, never blamed his god brothers or anyone. In fact, even towards his last physical breath, Prabhupada was asking for forgiveness to his disciples, to his god brothers, and all. Who can say that never been neglected? We all have been neglected. And this neglect is going to haunt us. It will haunt us throughout until and unless I'm clear of my identity. For the soul proper, there is no neglect. So if I'm not fixed up in my soul identity, I'm going to always experience neglect in life. Bound to feel neglected. And uh, in neglect, they poison the child. In neglect, they poison the child very much. Now, see, there is something to stab someone from the front. Someone coming with a knife, a dagger, and we know, okay, here is an enemy, and coming someone and stabbing me from the front in the chest. And to stab someone from the back, uncalled for, which is more heavy. Here we are speaking of Aryan, right? Aryan civilization and cultured, civilized. Which is more cultured? To stab someone, say, from the front, huh? Or to stab someone from the back. The 10 million co-wives, what do we think? Please grant me to a bit magnify or say, do some speculation perhaps in here. Huh? The 10 million co-wives, when they poison the wife, did they poison in broad daylight or in darkness? What do you think? Did they poison the sun when everyone was there knowingly, kind of, or that hidden way? Of course, hidden. Of course, hidden. Hmm? They might have prepared the poison themselves, or they might have asked a servant that this is not poison, but you make some such sort of drink. And while doing this, they would, I doubt if they had handed over the drink to the maid servant, go and feed this drink to the boy. They personally would have made the drink, they personally would have gone and fed the drink to the boy because they wanted to make sure that it comes to pass. They wanted to make sure. Putna, she personally came, right? Smearing poison in her breast. She personally wanted to meet Krishna and to feed Krishna. So, them queens, uh, and the king was oblivion, unaware of it, completely unaware. This is what, if I'm not clear of my identity, if I'm not clear of the purpose of my practice of Krishna consciousness, such things will happen for sure. A family should be living together, right? The kingdom, the palace, the king, the queen, and all those queens. Now, back in the day, the culture, 4 wives, 10 wives, or these Kshatriyas were allowed to have. And those wives were like sisters. They were like friends or sisters. They didn't share that sort of animosity or jealousy or enviousness. But if I'm any materially in any material calculation, in any material identity, I'm sure to be haunted by things like neglect, validation, appreciation, or praise, and all such things. And if such thoughts are entering, I try to understand what is the mission of Mahaprabhu. Now, naivety is one thing, uh, and stupidity is another thing. One cannot play a placard of naivety. In this instance, the queens could not reflect back and say, oh, sorry, we were a bit naive. We just made a small mistake, sort of. Naivety is one thing and stupidity is another thing. Also, what is the difference between ignorance and cheating? Or can, yeah, Pip, have you got something to say? What is the difference between ignorance and cheating?
I think with ignorance, there's an element where you're not aware of what you're doing, and with cheating, you know that what you're doing is wrong, and you do it nonetheless.
Yes. One can never cheat in ignorance. Cheating is always done in awareness. Cheating is always done in awareness. There could be a lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, but a practicing sadhakana, Paramatma resides in his heart. Paramatma gives clue. And what to speak, we are so blessed. Look at the blessing upon us. Paramatma, Krishna residing as Paramatma is there. Then the assembly of devotees is there. Ah, on top of that, if someone is blessed to search out for a Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, that is a even more solid say than Paramatma, more confirmation. Now, in this palace, in the kingdom, doesn't seem like the queens they had any consultation if they consulted with someone. So it was not in ignorance, it was in clear, broad daylight sort of cheating, but behind the back. Now, this is something can be very heavy, or see if it comes across as heavy. And see if this could be a bit revolutionary or what. Because us practicing Krishna consciousness, we should be yearning for opportunities which gives me a transformational shift in my practice of Krishna consciousness. Character, character is what one does when one thinks no one is looking. Character is what I do when I think no one is looking at me. When I think or when I know no one is watching. I can never sin. I can never sin, deviate or go wrong, or I will be very cautious or very worried if I'm aware Krishna is watching. If I'm having this much of sanity that Krishna is watching, Krishna is looking at me, Krishna is looking over me, Krishna knows. I would be very careful how I speak, what I conduct, what I do in my privacy. Externally, I may show and all, but character is real character is what I do when I think no one is looking. And this is something to be, if it can be taken at a personal level, if I can take it for myself, I will do a great favor upon myself. What is that saying, Renus? Do you know? Uh, how does it say? A sheep in, or is it a wolf in? A wolf in sheep's clothing. Hmm. Now, this is something for me to check out. What sort of sadhaka am I? A wolf in sheep's clothing? To begin with is fine, okay? We need purification and all, but we cannot live by it. Hmm. A wolf in sheep's clothing. When towards the end of say Ramayana, when Ravana was killed, it is said that uh, Lord Ram sent Lakshmana to Ravana, that he was a very learned, scholarly Brahmana, very knowledgeable. So go and his last breath he's taking, learn from him, see what it says. Hmm. So Lakshmana went towards. It is said Lakshmana went towards Ravana. Ravana, as he was leaving his body, he told Lakshmana, or he told in general, like he said, "Ghar ka bedi lanka dhai," isn't it? So he said, "Ghar ka bedi lanka dhai," meaning like an insider, someone who is an insider, he can only shake the walls. This is, I'm just doing a translation and not doing a very good translation, say. But someone who is an insider, he can only shake the wall of the family, of the house, of the home. Hmm. So, referring to uh, uh, Vibhishan, that Vibhishan is what he sided with Lord Ram and say, let the Lanka go off, because Vibhishan is who sided with Lord Ram and told Lord Ram the secret how to kill Ravana, what is the way, what benediction Ravana has, and how to kill him. And then Lord Ram killed him. So, Ghar ka bedi Lanka jai. Now, in here, the very person the king trusted, the queens, more than the maid servants, right? More than say outsiders. The very person the king laid his trust upon, what did they do? They poisoned the child. Now we need to check for ourselves. Many a times I play like a king, I play like the queen, I act like the king or the queen, or I act like one of those 10 million co-wives, or sometimes I act like the son. Sometimes I try to act like the Angira Muni, try to be a bit saintly, try to be a bit godly. Where do we want to go ahead, and where do I want to be very nicely situated? So the fault came from within only. Like Prabhupada said also, right, that the cracks within the society will be coming from inside, not from us outside. So this crack, and how to deal with such situations, an amazing lesson to learn from Mahabharata, an amazing lesson for behavioral or relationships dealings, and especially for management. What Ashwadhama had killed the sons of Draupadi. Draupadi said that, bring Ashwadhama to me. Arjuna said that, yes, the next day I will get Ashwadhama to you, and we chop off his head. Bhima also wanted that. Okay. So Arjuna told Krishna, bring the chariot, let's go and chase Ashwadhama, hunt for him. Fine, they hunted Ashwadhama, they got him to the room, say. And Draupadi was there, Bhim was there, Krishna is there, Arjuna is there, and Ashwadhama is there. And now Draupadi is saying to Arjuna that do not kill Ashwadhama. He's the son of a Brahmana, his father passed away, his mom has no one. Do not kill Ashwadhama. And Bhima, on the other hand, says that no, you have to kill Ashwadhama. And Krishna now telling Arjuna, Arjuna, what would you do? What do you do now? Check of morality, test of morality proper. But Arjuna, being in tune with Krishna, he acted in a way that Ashwadhama was killed as well and not killed as well. He acted in a way that Draupadi was also pleased and Bhima was also pleased. And he acted in a way keeping in mind Krishna, remembering Krishna, or surrendering to Krishna, or seeking guidance from Krishna. Say. And Krishna wanted to glorify Arjuna. And why Arjuna teaching us this lesson? That we should act in a way, us practicing sadhakas in our job life, student life, family life, every facet of our life, that if need be, we kill someone as well and simultaneously not killed. So simultaneously both parties happy, say. Now that is a real art, and we have to learn this trade. We have to understand this. And how would this come about? In good association, in good devotee association. There are many places where this could have been avoided. And the biggest thing is, had they taken some good association, some good guidance, this is why the role of someone acting as a counselor, as a mentor, as a life coach, as a so many, no, as a Siksha Guru, as a Diksha Guru, tremendous role, tremendous position, and it goes two ways. Like Diksha Guru, he has to be heavy. He cannot be lenient. So can Siksha Guru be lenient? No. Siksha Guru also has to be heavy. Siksha Guru also cannot be just lenient or casual. Siksha Guru should drive the disciple, not the disciple saying, "Oh, you should do this, you should do not this." No, should be driven by the Siksha Guru. Okay, on this note, maybe I will take a pause if there are any questions, comments, or clarifications, or Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's interesting how in this verse, which this conversation happened a long, long time ago, yet Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita are referred to. wonder if you could comment on that, please.
Yeah, King Chitraketu, referring to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. But if we see the shloka, it says Bhagavato Dharma. Now, many places we will find Bhagavato Dharma. Bhagavata Dharma is what? Bhagavat means unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Dharma means one's constitutional position, occupation, duty. What is our integral? What is my integral position, occupation, duty? To love and serve Krishna. Very simple. And Bhagavad Dharma now, Bhagavad Gita is teaching us Bhagavad Dharma. Srimad Bhagavatam teaching us Bhagavad Dharma. Chaitanya Charitamrita teaching us Bhagavad Dharma, as in those principles, the Tattva, the Siddhant, that thing. That is Bhagavad Dharma. Now, interestingly, Krishna tells to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 1, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. Vivaswan Manave Praha Manurikshva Kave Bravit. That this science of Bhagavad Dharma, I first spoke it Imam Vivasvate Yogan, to the sun god Vivaswan. Vivaswan, and then Vivaswan said it to King Manu and others, and this is how in Parampara it is coming upon. So, Arjuna, this is not something I'm telling you something new, or I'm bringing it something special or different for you. So, it is the same Bhagavad Dharma which Krishna spoke to the sun god, but possibly not in the light saying you are not this body, you are a spirit soul, or he didn't tell the sun god, go fight. He didn't tell. But the principles, the message are still the same. Principles and message are still the same. What he told to the sun god, what he told to Arjuna, and what are we being told by our spiritual masters. It is the same message, the same principle, and the way of practicing is also the same. Completely unadulterated. What our acharyas are giving, what Prabhupada has given, it is exactly the same Bhagavad Dharma. So, this is the Bhagavad Dharma which Chitraketu is referring, which Prahlad Maharaj is referring in the purport we see, and others who all are referring. The same Bhagavad Dharma. So, it is not like a sort of textbook. It is not as such a textbook in a mundane or academic sense. More than that, it is the essence, the principle, the message, the tattva, the sar. So Mahaprabhu's teachings amazing. Mahaprabhu, what does he say? Siddhanta baliya chitta na kariye alas. Iya hoite lage sudrida manas. Siddhanta baliya chitta. So a sadhaka, he should not be lazy. He should not be idle. He should not be just okay in understanding the principles in the Siddhant. The more we try to understand the principles in the Siddhants, the Tattva in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, the more we can find ourselves getting absorbed and less distracted. Distraction comes when I'm not doing japa properly, when I'm not reading, hearing properly, when I'm not taking higher association, not association, higher association. Then distractions come. So, but if I am engaging in learning the Siddhants properly, then iya hoite lage sudrida manas. Then I can develop attachment, where I can work upon towards getting attachment. So this is the Bhagavad Dharmas throughout Bhagavatam. Everyone the same dharma. What being told to Parikshit Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, and what we are receiving, exactly the same. And the same thing we have to do. Shri Guru Charana Padmas Kevala Bhakati Sadma. The same thing, when we surrender, when we reveal our heart and all, then it is the same message, same revelation, everything, the same thing will come about. Does that somewhat answer, Prana Prabhu? Does that somewhat fall in line with your question?
It's not so much a chronological thing, because Bhagavatam is an eternal thing. The Bhagavatam was already existing in the heavenly planets in a far greater volume than it was when it was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. And also Krishna explains that prior to Arjuna hearing Bhagavad Gita, Vivishwan, Ikshvaku, etc., Manu, so it's not just like, okay, this is an inconsistency here in terms of chronology, but Krishna, the knowledge of Krishna consciousness is eternal.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, and of course what you said as well, the principles, they're also eternal.
yes. It's not like Krishna is telling to Arjuna, oh, wait first, or we discuss tomorrow and all. No. Prabhu, you were saying something?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna. It's a very nice class, very thought-provoking. I wanted to ask, you mentioned how taking the role of Shiksha Guru, mentor, counselor is a very heavy task. So I'm understanding then, likewise, it's a very big responsibility to take that instruction from somebody and who to actually take the instruction from, because that will have very different results depending on who we take the instruction from. So could you maybe just talk about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so for us sadhaka, who do we take instructions from? We can hear from some say and all, but this is why we need to pray a lot. We need to pray a lot. Krishna residing as Paramatma within our heart, guide us, help us. And then when we are seeking more help, then Krishna will send someone who is a representative of Krishna. And by hearing from him, we'll get to know that yes, this is the right message at the right time from the right person for my right benefit altogether. In a way, Krishna consciousness is very subjective, or it is very personal. Or choosing a spiritual master is a very subjective thing, right? So, in that light, what light? It is both ways. Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, they also check the prospective disciple. And the disciple also checks the Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Prabhupada said that one should travel also if possible with Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Spend time with them. One thing is giving class, and outside also how they behave, how they deal. By spending time and listening from others and personally checking, then one can see, because it is a building of a relationship. It is a building of a relationship. Look, coming into Krishna consciousness, and imagine if one can not become loyal to his guru, how can he or she be trusted? If one cannot become loyal to Bhagavad Dharma, then have we progressed? How much have we progressed? So we discussed previously also, right? Someone in the city center of Glasgow could be breaking 4 regulations daily and not say chanting Hare Krishna. And someone could be maintaining say 4 regs and chanting Hare Krishna, but has not developed any attachment for Krishna. Who is in a more fallen condition, say? So it is very personal. It is a very personal thing. The whole assembly is there, but ultimately I have to fly my own plane. So this very subjective thing is, again, loyalty comes out, trust, the relationship comes out. The best is the king and the queen. Of course, there should be no room for neglect. There should be no room for neglect or mistreatment. Hmm. All this comes about why? Because we are not clear of our spiritual identity. We are not this body. It is a good motivation for me to, it sounds very, because it is not spoken in the mainstream lifestyle, right? So it sounds very catchy. We are not this body. Then which body are we? Not this body, then which body are we? So if one is very clear or wanting or hankering to understand his spiritual identity, he wouldn't entertain all such things. This is what Lord Brahma says, Tatya anukampam susamikshamano, bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. If we want an inheritance in the kingdom of God, this is the deal Krishna is asking. Whatever life you have left, that much can you maintain sanity? Can you maintain peace and decorum for that much of life? For the rest, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, whatever is left, just try to appreciate, respect devotee association. If you can do that for the rest 40 years, say, Krishna will scale it up to eternity. So if someone, the joy of giving, na, surrender or shelter, the joy of giving. So if I cannot give myself to someone, what what Krishna conscious practice am I doing then? So actually Krishna consciousness or this preaching, it is first for me, it is first for myself, and always for me and always for myself, not for someone on the streets. Say. Everyone needs preaching, but it is I who need constant such preaching. The queens here were like lack of validation, lack of appreciation, neglect, ego wrongly applied. Just I will end very shortly. Say, um, what we see, there is Dhritarashtra, who had the association, the company of whom Sanjay gave him good counseling, Gandhari gave him good counseling, and then Vidura gave him good counseling, Bhishma Pitama as well, Lord Krishna himself gave him good counseling. But he was so deep rooted in his ignorance, he was not willing, very illusioned. He himself was not willing. And he was what? Oh, providence, providence. But look at Vidura. Vidura did not leave Dhritarashtra. Even though he was so messed up, say, Vidura did not leave Dhritarashtra. After the war, Vidura came to see Dhritarashtra. And this is the power of Vidura's speech, right? He told Dhritarashtra, you are living like a parasite under the care of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Is this how you are a guardian, you are the elder, and this is the culture you are setting? This is the message you are giving. You're living just like a beggar for some biscuits, like in their house, in their kingdom. So, with his powerful speech, uh, completely egoistic, not to insult or offend, but to shake him up, help him come out of his denial mode. But not just leave it there. Then Vidura held the hand of Dhritarashtra and took him, let's go Himalayas, let us go there, and helped him practice meditation, helped him, showed him the path how to leave his body. It is compassion. What do we see in Ramayana? Kekai, Kekai, na? Again, same like Kekai, oh, Ram is going to be the king, not your son Bharat. Ram is going to be the king. And what happened? Manthara. Keikei was influenced by Manthara. Manthara came and spoke something. And you know this art of speaking in a very subtle way, in a something. Manthara doing cleaning the room, and in the room of Keikei being there, Manthara read. This is all political, all political. So, oh, so Lord Ram is. By the way, I was just saying that Lord Ram is going to be the son. I didn't mean anything. Just saying your son is. So indirectly fueling, creating some hype or giving some feeds and all these things, politically driven, egoistically driven. And what do you do? KK, if not properly situated, got influenced. Here it is not to say that KK got influenced and all. They are playing a role in the eternal pastimes of Lord Ram. Definitely. Because someone needs, na, as a mm, to bring about a climax, someone is required. So they are definitely playing a role in the eternal pastimes of Krishna. And what role I could be playing if I'm egoistically, politically driven? I may trying to play a role in the eternal messing up of Krishna consciousness, of my Krishna consciousness and someone else's, pushing someone else behind. So, uh, depends who we associate with. Duryodhan, he took association of Shakuni heavily, spoiled. Uh, Karna was spoiled because taking association of Duryodhan and Shakuni or Duryodhan se. Loyalty misplaced. Karna. Loyalty misplaced. Bharat Maharaj did not know the difference between service and compassion. Who to serve and who to be compassionate upon. Bharat Maharaj fell in love for a deer. So much compassion that some compassion became like his service. Bharat Maharaj, he stopped doing service in the ashram. He, his service schedule got completely crashed. Did it not? His waking time, sleeping time, everything. Why? I need to look after the baby deer. Providence has entrusted me to look after the baby deer. So that compassion became his service. No, my japa, I will do it. Oh, extra rounds I can manage maybe tomorrow. First, now I need to deal with the. This is us conditioned soul. We do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is proper, what is not proper, when it is to be done, when it is not to be done, how to be done, how not to be done. We don't know until and unless we genuinely see someone as an authority, see someone as realized, see someone as above us. Yes, he's closer to Krishna. What does otherwise association mean? Doesn't mean just sitting in prasadam hall and taking prasad together or driving together for Harinam or sharing rooms together. So Bharat Maharaj, again, loyalty misplaced. And what happened? See, who benefited out of that? Neither the deer benefited, nor Bharat Maharaj se benefited, and nor anyone in those ashram benefited. How valuable is human form of life? How valuable to understand the principles, the message of the scriptures. So Duryodhan taking and Arjuna, whom did he choose? He sided with Krishna. He chose to side with Krishna. Without hesitation, he said, Krishna, I choose you, not Narayani Sena, I choose you. Without hesitation, he had that vision. So we are definitely getting influenced. Now, who do I want to be influenced by? That is the question, and we can see then how this influence works. You can see the result, and it is all to mm, uh, what glorious we have been brought across Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita to understand Braja Bhakti. Hmm. And I should laugh at myself. What am I doing? On one hand, Mahaprabhu is giving me in Kali Yuga Braja Bhakti, which was not even possible for people in Satyuga. Such intimate pastimes, revelations of intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna, not even accessible in Satyuga. And what I'm thinking, she puts too much salt in khichdi. Uh, Last 3 days I've been getting khichdi only. Evening time, why is there so less prasadam? Where is my focus? And what do I say? Trinadapi Sunichinatarorapi. When I want to go out in streets distributing books, I really pray so much. Oh, he takes the books, he reads it, he starts doing japa, and 6 months he gets initiated. Another year he becomes a pure devotee. But when it comes to myself, how much do I think about myself? Not so much. So, again, something to learn. For others, we should always give a benefit of doubt. But for ourselves, I should always be doubting myself. For others, it is gentle to give a benefit of doubt. Serving prasadam is a great service. When we serve prasadam, someone serving prasadam, so many thoughts may come in the mind like, oh, I gave him 2 puris, 3 puris, coming for more. Now see, he will take 2 spoons of curd. He will take the. So, how hungry is he? So when it comes to serving someone other, this question may arise: how hungry is he? And when it comes to serving myself, I try to justify. No, I deserve one more puri. Actually, I deserve one more kachori. When it comes to, so I should be more strict with myself. I should be correcting myself, checking myself. This is why preaching is for myself only. So something on those lines, the queens, because of lack of devotee association, everything happened. It is good devotee association, higher devotee association, then Krishna will come from the front to see us. If I appreciate and value devotee association. Okay, I think on this note, I'll give you peace. Thank you very much for your patient listening and attention. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Bhakta Shish Prabhu ki.
Jai.